Hi, Sabina. This is Justina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Happy it's Friday.
That's right. Happy Friday. So let me give you a roadmap of what we're doing here, and then we'll hop right into the assessment. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
Okay, excellent. So the roadmap is this. Today we're doing the assessment. So this is just really an opportunity for me to really understand you, see what's important to you, like on all different levels, what your background is on multiple levels. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and custom tailor a plan of action with our team, and then we're going to hop on a follow-up call where I'm going to walk you through the plan of action. So that's it. And we're going to schedule that follow-up call at the tail end of this call. Make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's jump into the assessment. And the first question I have for you is, what led you to be on the phone with me right now? Like, tell me about what led to your desire to speak right now.
Well, to be honest, my mother sort of facilitated this, this instance. And, I got out of a relationship that was pretty long. It was 5 years long, and she was sort of concerned that I won't be able to find someone serious because of just my lifestyle. I travel a lot. I work in our business. So there's not much opportunity there to meet new people other than friends and friends of friends. So that kind of led me. I was open to it, but I don't know how much my mom shared with you. I understand that you guys might have spoken on the phone, but I don't know how much you might have shared about me or, I'm 25. So I'm fairly young. I'm not in a rush to find somebody, but I am open to it.
All right. Very helpful. So that gives me a good bird's eye view. And just to be candid, I did speak with your mom, but we really didn't get into any information about you at the point beyond, she has a daughter and that information. And she also, I think, what we're going to do is I'm going to dive into that relationship later in terms of just, different things about it. But for now, I know you're 25, you say you're young, you're not in a rush, which is a good place to be. No one likes to be in a rush for something like this. Let me ask you, if you were to find a guy that you were really connected with, right, over some time, could you see yourself married in the next couple of years? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, I have thought about it. I think my timeline is sort of like, if I do meet someone, maybe this year or next year that I feel strongly about and I see a long-term future with, then I would be ready, to take that next step, but not until 28 or so, because I would want to kind of get to know that person for a couple years first. I think that's really important. But as far as meeting that person now, I'm open to that. Okay, and let's talk about location. Tell me about what geography of the guy for you. Are you pretty flexible in that regard? Are you looking for a particular geography? Let's start there. Well, I am based in Southern California, LA, and as far as having like a long distance sort of deal, I don't see myself leaving Southern California anytime soon because my network is all my friends live here. I do travel quite a bit to the Bay Area, all throughout the United States for work. So I think I'm open to maybe meeting people who are maybe out of state, but that wouldn't be my preference. Okay, and what about Canada? Tell me a little bit about that. Is that like totally off limits, or is that something right by you consider? I saw your laugh. I'm guessing it's totally off limits, but I could be wrong. Tell me. You know, I've only been to Canada once, Vancouver for vacation, so I don't know much about Canada. I guess it's not that far if you think about it. You know, but it's probably fairly different, you know, meeting someone who grew up in Canada versus meeting someone who grew up here.
There are differences. I would agree. The cultures actually are different, you know. All right. Okay. Well, now let's talk about what you do. I know you travel quite a bit for work, but tell me what it is exactly that you do day to day.
So we have a family business, and my role has sort of evolved into a sales role, business development. So I'm sort of responsible for nationwide sales, and I would say about 2 to 3 times a month I travel. So whether it's for conference or client meetings or new client meetings, that's pretty much my frequency of travel. And when I'm not traveling, I do go into the office. We have an office in Irvine, California, so I go into the office when I'm not traveling.
Okay. And the 2 to 3 months, I know you mentioned you travel, you know, throughout, but you go to the Bay Area often and you travel throughout. So are there, beyond the Bay, are there certain destinations you tend to gravitate towards on a like recurring basis, or is it really kind of anywhere and everywhere throughout the country?
Yeah, so like you said, the Bay Area, we have a lot of clients there, so I do tend to visit there more so than other places. But St. Louis, Missouri, I definitely probably go there twice a year. Texas, I'm there, I would say somewhere with, you know, either Austin, Dallas, or Houston 2 to 3 times a year. New York at least once a year, maybe twice a year. Florida once or twice a year, and then Arizona a couple times a year. Other than that, you know, it's all onesies and twosies, you know, different cities like Minneapolis, you know, maybe once a year, Detroit maybe once a year. Summer probably, I hope. Summer, I hope, for both of those. Hopefully. Yeah, you're like, okay. So how often, like, I know you go to, you know, every 2 to 3 months you're traveling. How long do you stay typically, or is there no typical? Oh, actually 2 to 3 times a month, not 2 to 3 months. So I probably travel every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Every 2 weeks. Ah, right. Okay. And are you gone for just a couple of days, or a day here and there, or is it kind of like you park it there for like a week or so?
It depends. So like I was just in San Francisco, and my brother lives there, and I had 3 different meetings. So I kind of stayed there for longer to just combine the meetings and stay there for a week, spend time with my brother, and then I flew from there to Connecticut for a meeting there. So that was kind of a 1.5-week long trip. But usually my trips, if I'm only going to one place for 1 or 2 meetings, it's like a 2-day deal. Okay. And I know that you had mentioned that, you know, you don't see yourself really leaving the state. Are you, is the Bay Area somewhere that you could kind of see yourself as well as Southern California? Tell me. Yeah, I think so. Tell me about that in terms of permanently. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I definitely like the weather better in Southern California, but, you know, I have family there, and I do like, you know, the vibe and the environment there. I don't have too many friends who live out there, other than my brother and, you know, some family, but I like it. Okay. What about Washington State? Exploring a couple places to do here, like Seattle. Washington State. Oh, yeah. Okay. I have been to Seattle once for work, and I spent about a little over a week there. I liked it. Weather-wise, not so much. It's rainy and it's cold. I'm a warm weather person. I do what I have to do to travel to cold places, you know, for work, but I don't enjoy it. Yeah. You want to stick to warmer climates. What about same question about like a Texas? Yeah, I visited quite a bit. I wouldn't say I've had a chance to explore really, because usually when I go on these business trips, it's like I stay in the hotel room and then as soon as I'm done, I head to the airport. You know, not so much as California, I would say. My parents live in Nevada, and, you know, it's close enough where, you know, I can hop on a 45-minute flight. And my brother, Sonny, he's also like a 1-hour flight away. So we're kind of a close family, even though we live in different, you know, cities. But I wouldn't want to be too far away.
Okay. I mean, could you see yourself back in, like, Nevada, Vegas, or not really?
Maybe, like, down the line, but definitely, like, for the next 5-10 years, I don't know. I don't.
Okay. So now, tell me about where you grew up.
Okay, I grew up, I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. I lived there for about 8 years. And then we moved to Orange County, and that's pretty much, you know, where I went to middle school and high school. And, you know, I went to college. I went to USC, which is in LA. So I've pretty much been like a California girl, even though I was born in St. Louis and I lived there for a while. Pretty much in Southern California my entire life.
Okay. All right. And tell me about how you like spending your time when you're not working. What do you like to do?
I am a pretty social person, I would say. I like to meet up with friends, you know, maybe go out to dinners, you know, to bars. I like to, even though I live like 5 minutes away from the beach, I hardly make it out to the beach. But I like doing daytime activities on weekends, like biking and, you know, hiking. Exploring new places is always fun. I wouldn't say I'm like a super adventurous person because I do like familiar things. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. It very much does. And I know you travel quite a bit for work. Tell me where on your list of priorities travel for pleasure stands. Like, is that something you kind of been there, done that, sick of it at this point, or something you really would love to do with a significant other or somewhere in the middle?
I think it would be fun to travel with a significant other. I have in the past, but it would be like maybe once a year. And I've sort of kind of organized it so I could combine it with a work trip because, you know, I feel like I travel so much for work and I don't ever get to explore the places that I go to. And I think it would be fun to do so with, you know, somebody else, not just on my own. But I would like to travel more. You know, my family, we take like a vacation maybe once a year. And, you know, it's always nice to go somewhere, you know, a new country. But I haven't done too much of it, actually.
Okay. And let's talk food. Are you non-vegetarian? Are you vegetarian?
I'm non-vegetarian. Yes.
Okay.
I've been eating meat all my life. I do eat vegetarian a good amount of time, I would say. Like, I would probably eat vegetarian a few days a week just because I don't mind it at all.
Okay. And you got some great, in Southern California, I know it's pretty ubiquitous, right? It's not hard to find.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I try to eat healthy. I'm like a healthy eater, like very little gluten or, you know, junk food, but, you know, here and there I do.
Sure. Tell me, your guy, would your guy need to be a non-vegetarian, or are you kind of flexible as long as you can do what you want to do kind of thing?
No, I'm kind of flexible. I mean, like, I guess it would be nice to have a non-vegetarian because I do like, you know, on occasion going to like a steakhouse and, you know, having a steak, even though I don't eat it very often. But it's like a nice outing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So would a guy then, in that sense, who's vegetarian, be kind of, would that be a deal breaker for you, or would it be something that, not excited about, but, everything else kind of you're excited about? You can deal with it. Where would that fall?
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker for me, no. My mom's vegetarian, so, I'm used to, dealing with vegetarians, so it's not a deal breaker at all.
Okay. I know you mentioned being really social, so tell me, extrovert, introvert. Tell me where you place yourself and tell me about why.
Oh, man. Well, I think I did that, Myers-Briggs personality test a long time ago back in school, and I don't remember what my four-digit code was, but I think I was somewhere, on the cusp of both, sort of in the middle between introvert and extrovert. I would say I can, because I'm in sales, I get along with everyone. I kind of have to be outgoing that way. I like making new friends. I'm introverted in the sense that I do like to, have some alone time, but I guess I'm more so an extrovert now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay. And tell me, Sabina, what are the top 3 things, right? If you pick 3 things sort of in this moment of time, what are the top 3 things you'd say you're most grateful for, you're most thankful for?
Family, number one. I'm so blessed to have, the parents and my brother. We've always been pretty close, and, we work together, too. So I couldn't be more grateful for having the family that I have and the support system that I have. Second would probably be the ability to, live on my own, to not have to worry too much about expenses or, having ends meet. I'm lucky in that sense. The third would probably be my friend group. I have some really good long-term friends that I can see myself, being friends with for a long time. So I guess those 3. I didn't really have enough time to think about that question, so maybe I'll revise it later. But those were the 3 off the top of my head.
Excellent. I find the top of the head tends to be pretty good, right? It's one of those things that it's excuse me. Yeah. So, let me ask you a couple questions here. I'm gonna. Have you ever been married before?
No.
Some of these might seem from left field, but I always ask everybody. I've learned assume nothing. Okay, so know that. But, okay, so you've never been married before. Now, let's say a guy has. He could be widowed, he could be divorced, what have you. Would that be a deal breaker for you? Would that be, depending on the context, something you'd consider? Tell me about that.
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me. I'm still young, so I feel like, if I was 30 to, 30 plus, maybe I would be able to compromise and, settle for somebody who has been married. But I think because I'm at the place where I am, I don't want that.
Okay. Speaking of want, do you want kids at all in the future?
Yeah, I do. But, not until, the timeline keeps changing as I get older, but I would say
it's not funny how that happens.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good.
29, 30, if I get married at 28, So
yeah, so you want to be together kind of as a couple for a while, and then kind of create a family together. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Okay. Exactly. All right. Yeah. That's very common. So all right, and let's talk about ethnicity here, right? So what I want to know from you is, are you very open to all different ethnicities? Are you looking exclusively for Indians, South Asians? Tell me where you're at on that.
No, I'm not limiting myself to just Indians. I've never dated an Indian guy before. Okay. But I'm open to it. I'm very picky, to be honest. So I think for an Indian guy to impress me, or just I would feel that sort of connection with. I think it would take a lot, but I am open to it. And, you know, my mom wants me to be open to it, but I am open to other ethnicities as well. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Are there any ethnicities, races, cultures that you'd be uncomfortable with your partner having, right? Again, being honest, like honest is the way to go, right? Because I cannot help you if I don't really understand, right? So completely judgment-free zone here. But that said, you know, it's really helpful to really know. And again, this isn't about being friends with someone. This is about finding a significant other, right? So are there any races, ethnicities, or are you open to everything kind of in that sense?
Okay. To be honest, I can't see myself. I can't see myself with a black guy. I can't.
Anything else?
Maybe like a mix, like a half black, but not like black. And then I can't see myself with like a Chinese or like Japanese, like an Asian guy, for sure.
Okay, so like Southeast Asian, African American.
Right.
Anything else? Anything else, or just kind of those two categories?
No, I think I'm open. Yeah.
Okay. And let's talk about religion now. Do you identify with any religion or not really?
Not really. I mean, culturally, we grew up as Hindus, but we never really practiced or did any like of the rituals or anything. It was kind of more about the culture for us than the actual religion part of it. So I was never really religious growing up. I still don't think of myself as a religious person.
Okay, and let me ask you a question. Do you, sounds like, you know, you don't have any religious practices. What about spiritual? Would you consider yourself a spiritual person? Not really. It means different things to different people, but I just want to give an understanding here. Kind of, let's start with the threshold. Do you consider yourself spiritual at all, or not really? Not kind of your thing?
Not at the moment, you know. I don't think I'm super spiritual. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So any kind of, you know, the same question as I asked before about ethnicity, and this is any religions, you just can't really see yourself connecting with a guy who is of any particular, you know, religion, and anybody, anything, or not really?
I probably don't see myself with somebody who is Muslim. I don't know why, but I just don't at this time. And then other religions, to be honest, like I respect if that's somebody's like family background, but as far as them being, you know, an avid, someone who practices it strongly, I don't see myself with anyone who practices any religion super strongly.
Okay, you kind of disconnect, right? Because like that's not a part of your life, and is that
exactly like if somebody's Christian and they go to church, like, you know, on Easter and on Christmas, I understand that. But if they're Christian and they, you know, they're strict about going to church every Sunday, I don't see myself doing that. So I think that's, you know, I wouldn't see myself with that sort of person.
All right, and let me ask you a question going forward in time, right? And that is, let's say you ended up with a partner who, like you, not really religious, but does come from a background that is not Hindu, let's say. So if he was like, you know, I'm not really religious, but I would like to expose my kids, I would like for them to attend, what have you, church, temple, what have you, as long as it's not a mosque, right? Because I know a Muslim is not. So if is that something that you'd be open to, or is that something it doesn't really resonate? And I know this is looking in the future, and clearly, like we only know what we know now. But how does that sit with you? Like, does this resonate, or if a guy was like, you know, I'm not particularly religious now, but you know, when we have kids, I'd like them to kind of get a taste of whatever it might be, Sunday school or that whatever it is. Tell me about that.
I guess I would consider it. I don't think it's something I'd be opposed to. So I'm not I don't feel so strong about that.
Okay. And a lot of the stuff, you know, is fun. It's not right. It's kind of, that's part of the exploring, right, with somebody anyways. And you sometimes don't know the answer until you kind of have hit certain experiences, and then you're kind of like, that works for me, or nah, that's not really going to work for me, right? So that's the beauty of kind of, like you said, exploring something with someone. Okay, so let's talk about religion from the point of view of like agnostic, atheist. Either of those fine, or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably both. I don't know. I'm still formulating my view on religion, so
Sure.
I guess I would be agnostic because I don't spend too much time thinking about it, and I don't want to, you know, call myself an atheist if like it's not something I feel super strongly about.
Okay. And then let me ask you this, and I'm going to take this further, even though you're kind of like, I'm just still formulating my views, and that's cool. But let's say someone were to say, all right, Sabina, you know, tell me, you know, do you believe in God, or do you believe in a higher power? Not sure, or probably not. Where along those would you put yourself at this moment in time? Let's say.
I would say I believe in maybe a higher power, but not sure if it's like I believe in God, you know?
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Let's now talk. Remember I mentioned we're gonna be delving into the dating relationship history. So let's do that here. And what I'd like to start, maybe guiding you through this, what I'd like to start is the 5-year relationship that you mentioned. And the first question I have is, I know it was about 5 years, but when did it end? When would you say that kind of ended?
Well, it kind of was like a gradual ending, but I would say it started like 3 months ago. Like the ending started 3 months ago, and it just kind of fizzled, you know, at the end of the year.
Okay. And tell me what kept you in it for 5 years. Tell me how you met, and tell me what you enjoyed about it, right? What kept you in for whatever, 4 years and 9 months or what have you. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, you know, we met in college. We met at USC. And we met on the salsa dancing team. So it was something kind of random.
Did you say the salsa? You said the salsa dancing team? Did I hear that right?
Yes, you heard that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. Okay.
So that's actually one of my hobbies. I don't go out in salsa as much as I would like, but like I do tend to, you know, do it once every other month type of thing with my friends who I met through it. So we met on the team, and, you know, he is super funny, super just unique and different. He was from New York, so he grew up in New York, so he had a New York accent and kind of like a different personality about him compared to, you know, all of the other people who are from LA. So we kind of connected, and he is just such a nice guy, and I think one of the reasons that we stayed together for so long is because he treated me so well, and you know, I knew he would do anything for me. I think kind of the attraction from my side faded as the relationship went on, and you know, there wasn't like we had a lot of fights or anything like that. It was a good relationship. I'm glad, you know, I had those 5 years with him. But I don't know if I could see myself marrying him. He would be a good husband, you know, but I don't know. I didn't picture it.
Didn't picture it kind of in your head. What would make him a good husband? What about him you kind of think maybe he'd be a good husband? What would it? Why do you feel that?
Yeah, you know, the more I think about it, and, you know, I've talked to my parents about it, I feel like, you know, being with someone from a similar family background would probably help, because I am so close with my parents, and, you know, like, socioeconomic levels, the disparity probably shouldn't be too much where there's, issues that can take place in the future because of it. So I think those were factors, of course, but it would just be nice to have someone who understands where,
so did he kind of where you're coming from, kind of, and okay, did he share that then with you? Did he come from a similar kind of socioeconomic background, or no?
No, he didn't.
He did not. Okay.
I would say he comes from like a poor household, but it was definitely like middle class, like his family in New York lives in Brooklyn, and it's not like he does well for himself. He's in real estate, and he has like a clothing line, so he does decent for himself. There's not there's not like a super money issue there, but I just think it would be easier going forward.
Okay. And beyond that, any other areas where you can kind of, I know it can be really intangible, but that said, any other areas with some hindsight here, not much, but some hindsight, right? And it sounds like maybe there was some processing, right, for those 3 months too. So anything else that you kind of was sort of disconnection points or just, areas where you're like, I'm not sure if I see this really. Anything else?
Yeah, well, okay, this might make me kind of shallow, but I think it's normal for people who have been...
No judgment. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to keep saying that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so for people who have been in a relationship for so long, it's normal for them to gain some happy weight. And, that's what happened with him, where, he sort of gained some weight, had a belly, and I was not into that because I feel like I take, reasonable care of myself. I'm careful about what I eat. I exercise, probably not as much as I should, but a couple times a week. And I think that was something that I couldn't let go of because, I didn't like the fact that he gained weight and, that physical attraction is important to me. So that was something that comes to mind.
Yeah, I know you mentioned before sort of attraction sort of fading for you. Is that kind of it or anything else that kind of you feel kind of lowered the attraction level you felt? Was that kind of it or some other stuff too?
I think that was kind of it, and it also kind of influenced me too, because I do travel a lot and I meet other people that are, interested in me or, want to talk to me. And I think as I started doing that more, I sort of realized that, hey, maybe I should be meeting other guys because, there might be something better out there. So that feeling of, hey, I wonder if there's someone better out there wasn't going away.
Yeah.
It was sort of getting worse and building up.
Getting more pronounced. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And tell me, prior to that, and are you guys in touch anymore or not really?
Not really. I mean, we still have like a lot of mutual friends because, that salsa group that we all used to hang out with, they meet periodically. I haven't seen him in, a week or two, so I would say we don't hang out, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. And let me ask you, prior to that relationship, right? So we're going back to actually, when did you meet him in college? What year were you when you met him in college in the salsa team?
I was a junior, and he was
later in college.
Yeah.
He was a year younger. Was he a year younger, or were you the same age in just different years?
He was like 9 months younger than me.
Okay. And was that cool with you? Did you feel anything, or was it kind of normal? Nothing, no big deal one way or the other?
It wasn't a huge deal to me. I guess like in hindsight, like it might have been good for someone who's a couple years older than me, just because, you know, I feel like I'm sort of in a interesting place that I feel like many of my friends are sort of, you know, in that phase where they're trying to get their careers, you know, solidified. They're trying to figure out what they want to do and where they want to live. And I'm here. I know what I want to do. I already have my career pretty much set. So for me, it's like, okay, what's the next step? Not that I'm like itching to get married. I don't want you to think that I am, because I feel like, I just feel like I'm in a different place experience-wise than a lot of my friends.
Sure. No, I hear you on that. Let me ask you, in terms of that, you see yourself kind of, you know, working with your family's business, so like you see that as your career, whatever positions you hold now in the future, but you see kind of that's kind of where you're at, like that's a good, happy place for you to be. Is that sort of what you see career-wise for yourself?
Yeah, I feel like it's a place that I can affect great change in, and there's a lot of potential for me to help grow the business, and I'm pretty blessed to have the opportunity to do so. Many of my friends don't have an opportunity like this, so as of now, I'm happy with it. It's challenging, it's hard, but, you know, I think down the line, if I'm interested in doing something else, I wouldn't be opposed to doing something else, you know? I don't think I would be stuck doing this for the rest of my life.
Okay. And let's talk about any relationships you had prior to that one that you were just discussing. Any others, or?
Not really. I mean, nothing substantial, nothing significant, because I was younger. I was like high school, beginning of college, so I wouldn't say there's been anything serious.
Okay, so this is just, and in terms of he's Caucasian. Like, tell me a little bit more about his ethnic background.
So he was Dominican. His parents are from the Dominican Republic, so he was Latino, but he looked pretty white, I would say, because he had very fair skin. Sort of like racially ambiguous. He could probably pass for like Middle Eastern or something else.
Okay. And now we're going to go, that can get intense sometimes for people, so I'd like if you lighten it and just ask them really kind of objective criteria here, which is just like your height, your weight, that kind of thing. So what's your height, Sabina? How tall are you?
I'm 5'5", 5'6".
5'5". Okay, and what are your thoughts regarding the height of your partner? Any flexible on that, or do you have certain kind of parameters in mind?
I would like 6 feet or above.
Okay, let's talk about like. Like 6 feet or above would be it's a deal breaker if it's not 6 feet, let's say, or is it like a strong preference, but you would consider someone, let's say 5'11", 5'10", what have you? Tell me about that.
I would probably it's very, very strong preference. I would maybe consider like a 5'11", 5'10". Yeah, I know that makes me sound like kind of superficial, but I just, the guy that I was dating previously, he was like 5'10", 5'11", and I did feel like, I would like it if he was taller, type of thing.
Okay.
So I don't want to have that feeling again,
Okay, so what I'm hearing you on, is like 5'10", probably a deal breaker, 5'11", depending, your preference is taller. Did I get that, or tell me if you have to edit what I just said? Make sure I'm on. Okay. All right, kind of important. Okay, tell me about the body type. First tell me how much about do you weigh, right?
I'm like 138. 138. Okay. Did you get the picture? I think my mom sent a picture of me to you.
You know what?
Said you wanted to see a picture.
Me one. I did a quick. No, that's very helpful. I was only able to say like a super quick glance right before hopping on, candidly. But I know she sent something and she texted actually, so I do appreciate that. How recent is the picture? Do you know which one it is, or I don't know if it came from her?
Yeah, I was copied. I mean, she sent it to like both me and you. I would say that like maybe 6 months old, 7 months old, maybe. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's
fair enough.
I don't think they've changed too much.
No, that's what it is. I know material, just like hair, but about the same, body, weight, pretty much the same, right? I mean, last 6, 7 months, not a difference. Okay. Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, so let's talk about your partner. I know we talked about that before, actually, in the context of your previous relationship. So it sounds like you're looking for someone, health conscious, like kind of a similar attitude about that in terms of fit and that kind of thing. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Or tell me anything you want to add. Okay. So just, fit, basically, sharing that kind of, that value and lifestyle. Tell me, all right, pets, dogs, cats, that kind of thing. You travel quite a bit. My guess is you probably don't have any, but you never know. Do you have any pets at all?
No, I don't have any pets. I don't see myself getting a pet. Like my mom has a dog, so I like dogs. I'm not much of a cat person because I think I'm allergic to them. I don't know. Some cats I'm allergic to, and some cats I'm not. But I wouldn't mind a dog, but I don't see myself taking care of a dog at this point in my life.
Okay, so if he has a dog, and he could deal with it, you're cool with that? But you're not really wanting to be like the primary caretaker at this point. All right, and a cat, is that dicey just because you might be allergic and you have no idea, so you're kind of around it? Or tell me about that. Like, would it be a deal breaker if a guy had a cat? Or okay,
probably.
All right. Okay. Tell me I want you to think of the person or the people who know you the best. And at this point, it actually doesn't matter who they are. Whoever that person or those people are, tell me the one thing, Sabina, the topmost thing they say they appreciate the most about you. What would that one thing be?
Oh, God. I don't know, maybe like my thoughtfulness, because, I will go out of my way to celebrate their birthday or, take them out for dinner. So maybe I don't know. That's a hard question. That's a tough one.
Okay. And there's no rush, right? Look, I want you to, there's no rush here. Okay, so thoughtfulness. Tell me the people, those people in your life, that person who so appreciates your thoughtfulness, what do they love, Sabina, despite? It's kind of, we're all fallible, right? So what are the things they more kind of tolerate and put up with than love about you? What's that one thing, again, the first thing that hits your head in terms of what that might be?
Your question is that they tolerate about me, but they don't like?
Yeah, they don't love, right. So they still appreciate your thoughtfulness. They're like, right? But they love you despite this one. Yeah, exactly, right.
Oh, okay.
Dislike or just not excited about, wherever on that continuum, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Maybe my stubbornness, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
My stubbornness.
Okay. And tell me, if I were to ask the gentleman that you were with for those 5 years, and not like at this point, not actually any, just sort of with hindsight and as objective as he could probably be, if I were to ask him to describe you, what do you think he'd tell me, right? Not when he's emotionally entangled, but just kind of like give him a truth serum. Tell me about this person. What do you think he'd tell me if I were to ask him that question?
I think he would say that I'm, incredibly mature. I know, what I like. I'm quirky. I'm weird. I like, I'm a people person. I like, going out. I like dressing up. I appreciate, beautiful things, if it's, you know, fashion or places. I would hope that he would think I work hard. So work hard, play hard type of, you know, personality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of work hard, play hard, right? Clearly when you're traveling, it's kind of, you know, you can't really keep that. But when you're in the office, excuse me, when you're in like the home office or when you're in the office, what kind of hours are you putting in generally?
You know, it depends. I would say at least 8 hours when I'm, you know, working, when I'm here, and when I'm traveling, it's probably longer hours, because probably 12 to 14 hours, especially when I have conferences. So, yeah. Okay.
And in terms of those hours, do you work weekends at all? Or you pretty much keep it sort of the weekdays.
It's pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much weekdays, because our clients don't work on weekends. So unless I have to travel or there's a conference starting on a Sunday, then yeah.
Okay. Tell me, Sabina, about one of the most influential people in your life, and this one I want to know who this person is, and I want you to tell me, you know, why do you pick this person? What is it about this person that so influenced you? Tell me about that.
I would have to say it's my dad. He has just been the person who has, you know, I don't know. He has been the person that shaped me, in addition to my mom, of course. But when he talks, it's like I'm all ears. Like what he says, everything is like, I know, carefully thought out, and it really resonates with me. So, you know, he's probably the biggest role model, the biggest influencer. And, you know, one of the reasons I did, you know, break up with my, you know, boyfriend of 5 years is because he asked me, like, you know, not that he was not in favor of me dating him, but he asked me, so what's the deal? Like, do you want to marry him? And I said, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean I don't know? Don't you think, you know, you've had 5 years to evaluate, don't you think you should know by now? And then, you know, I really thought about that. I was like, yeah, I guess I should know by now. I guess I should be super sure right now. But that was the problem. I wasn't super sure. So when he says things to me, I feel like it resonates more compared to when other people, you know, say similar things. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. All right. Tell me, and this could be from anyone. It could be from your dad or anyone else. Tell me about one of those golden nuggets, kind of the best advice, the best guidance, something you really, you know, internalized, right? That maybe kind of you internalized and sort of almost became part of you. What is that advice, guidance, golden nugget, what have you?
That he's given me, or?
No, anybody. It could be anybody, but something that really resonated. And it could be a person. It could even be like a thought leader. It could be something you read. It could be something you saw. You know, it's the source is not terribly important here, but what it is what I'm getting at, right? What that nugget is. So
probably that the change that change is the only constant in life, and you know, in order to grow, you need to be able to adapt, and there will be, you know, curveballs that get thrown at you from all angles, and that's what life is, and you just have to be able to change and adapt and, you know, grow as a person.
Okay. What about the worst piece of guidance or advice? So, you know, in opposite of what you just said, something that just didn't resonate with you. When you heard it, still doesn't. In fact, you would, you know, you can't see yourself ever saying something like that, and you know, kind of hard to stomach it coming from someone else. So what would that advice be, or guidance, or suggestion? And again, it could be a person, it could be both. It could be you looking at a show and having a character say to the other character and you're thinking, ooh, no, don't, right? Any of that, it doesn't matter. But I just want to get at what you would think was kind of really bad news, bad guidance, bad advice, what have you.
I think maybe the fact that people always say, oh, you know, things happen for a reason, or it's not up to us, it's up to God, because that to me feels like you aren't in control of your own destiny. And I think that, you know, life is not about merely existing, it's about living and taking your life into your own control and doing what you feel is right to get what you want. So when people say, you know, it's meant to be, or, you know, if God wants it, it'll happen type of thing, very hopeful and wishful thinking. I don't like that as much because I feel like that's not taking things into your own hands.
Okay, very helpful. Tell me, when are you the happiest? Like, Sabina, when are you really in your element? When would that be? Or what would that be for you?
When I'm really happy, I don't know. I think, you know, I've been very happy when I had an accomplishment at work. Maybe I brought in a big new client. Or I'm happy when I'm with my family and my friends, and, you know, I just feel loved and supported. I'm happy when I see people that I love who are also happy. So, yeah.
Excellent. What puts you in a sadder place? Like, what takes you out of your element?
Just whenever I have a bad day, like if I, you know, run into obstacles at work, or, you know, I'm kind of like a anxious person maybe, so, you know, if things stress me out, or if I'm worried about, you know, someone else that I love, like my brother or my parents, then that puts me out of my element.
Okay. And what is it that would make you, what is it about you that make you a great partner for the right guy? Tell me about that.
Well, I think I am a thoughtful person. I think I have a lot to bring to the table in terms of how well that I'm doing in my career. And I think I'm able to get along with people very well. I'm able to be a good listener, and I like to take care of people, whether it's, you know, being hospitable if they're in my house or otherwise. And I like to have fun. I'm always about, I don't think there's a dull moment with me, to be honest.
Okay. And now so for all of those reasons, right, that the guy for you is going to so appreciate all those things about you, what is this guy going to be putting up with, right? None of us is perfect. He's not going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. None of us. That's my belief. At least none of us are perfect. So tell me, what is he going to be, you know, happily putting up with or even tolerating, just because, like, the whole package is what he wants, right? So what is that he's going to be putting up with?
Wow. Okay. Maybe like my decisiveness or indecisiveness. So, for example, if I want to go to this place to try this new place out for dinner, and I know I really want to just go there, and I don't want to think about going anywhere else, I'm focused on that one place. Some people think, you know, that's me not being very flexible. Or my indecisiveness, meaning where I don't know what I want, whether I want to go here or I want to go there. So I think it can really go both ways. That's something that they might have to put up with. I don't know, maybe like weird habits, like I like to watch Netflix before I go to bed, or I have, you know, dietary restrictions on what I like to eat. I can't imagine that there was else. Well, I didn't bring this up earlier because it's not like I've been doing it for a while. I've been trying to restrict dairy and gluten to my diet, but this has only been, you know, going on for like the past 3 months. So it hasn't been like a habit yet. So I didn't bring it up as something earlier when we were talking about non-veg and veg. So, yeah.
Okay, but something kind of aspire, something you'd like to kind of work towards at this point? Is that kind of
something that I'm like, I'm working on right now.
Okay. And tell me, I know you have one brother, because you've mentioned that, and it's the two of you. So tell me, is he older or younger?
He's a year older.
Okay. And he works for the family business as well then?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And if I were to ask him to describe you, what do you think he'd tell me?
That I am headstrong. I'm impatient. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that as one of my flaws. I tend to be impatient. That I'm funny. That I'm friendly, and I'm just probably quirky, and I don't know, just a fun person to be around.
Okay.
I know this that I get stressed out easily, which I do.
Okay. What kind of stuff stresses you out? Like, have you noticed kind of what makes you a bit more anxious, or kind of stresses you out a bit, or a lot?
It's hard to like put a finger on, you know, what exactly stresses me out, but it could just be anything. It's not like a super stressed out thing where I need to like take medicine for it or, you know, have a prescription for my anxiety. It's not to that level.
Sure.
But I probably do, like, I'm kind of a worrywart. Like, I'll worry about things that, you know, I may not have control. I may not have control over.
Okay. And tell me, you've mentioned quirky quite a few times, and what I want to know is just tell me about some of your quirks. Tell me about that. Like, what? It's different for everybody. So what would you consider some of your quirks?
Oh God, my quirks. I might have to get back to you on that because I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll try to remember to circle back. Okay. Tell me about your dad. I know that you mentioned him being such an influence on you, but just describe him, right? Describe him to me.
He is, you know, he's someone who has been very involved my whole life, and I just always wanted to make him proud. And he, you know, he's also like been huge in educating me and helping me grow in my career. Or, you know, in school, he would always, you know, work with me on my homework and stuff. So he's like a very patient person. Very smart. He has multiple degrees. But like a very low-key person. he doesn't, like to be the center of attention, or he's not into materialistic things at all. He barely goes shopping for himself, like maybe once a year. He's not into, cars or, nice clothes or anything really. He's a very simple person.
Okay. Tell me about your mom.
My mom is, I feel like, very bold, and she has a great vision in life, what she wants for herself, and what she wants for her family. She's kind of taught me the ropes on how to be a leader in my company while also, looking the part, acting the part, looking, dressing fierce, just like being a boss lady, right? That's what my mom is like. But she's also very warm, and she's very loving too, like outwardly so, like more so than my dad. My dad, won't usually be like going for a hug or a kiss or anything, but my mom is more so of a warm and welcoming person that way.
Okay. What do you recall of your parents' relationship with each other? So not with the kids so much, but with each other, like as a couple. How they interacted as a couple, while you're growing up?
For the most part, I feel like they've been great together. As when I was younger, I do faintly recall them, having fights and maybe like not talking for a day, but like nothing like super serious, They travel a lot together now for work and otherwise, and I just like they're a really good like balance to each other, and I think they're a great couple.
Okay. And, Sabina, this is a two-part question, but I do find that for a lot of people, the kind of the answers or responses tend to blend into one. Nevertheless, I ask them separate, right? So the first, let's call this part A. So the part A to this question is why, meaning why are you interested in, being with a significant other? What's your, what interests you about that? What's your drive? And the second, just so you know where we're heading, the part B of this is going to be your vision, not for the guy, but for the kind of relationship you want to share with this guy. So let's start with why, and tell me what's Sabina's why, right? Like why do you even, want to be with somebody? Tell me about that.
I want to be with someone because I think I would like having like a partner to talk to about things, every day, and just to help support, each other and businesses in business or with regards to family. It would be nice to have like a partner in crime that's like on your side no matter what.
Okay.
And then what was the other question?
Okay, so tell me about the vision. So see how this happens. You kind of have painted a vision already in terms of like a partnership where you guys are like mutually supportive, there for each other, like sharing things, right? Kind of like knocking back things at the end of the day. Anything else to add to that vision that you already started to paint there about the kind of relationship you want? Anything else beyond the support and the being there for each other? Yeah, anything else, or is that kind of really capturing it?
Well, I feel like someone that I can be proud of, right? That I can introduce to my family or my friends as, and they would be impressed by him, whether it's, of course, like looks-wise is important. I'd want, a tall, handsome, muscular guy, like that would be great. But I think also an impressive personality is equally as important, like someone who goes out of their way to get to know my closest friends, Who goes out of their way to, like, one of the things that I think my last boyfriend, he did really well was, if we would go to my best friend's birthday party, which it was at a bar or it was at a dinner, he would he would buy her a drink or buy her a round of drinks and her friends. And that was just his way of, you know, showing that best friend that, you know, he cares to get to know them. And, you know, because I care about them, he does too. So I think having that sort of personality is important. And so there's like a 3 different ways you can be impressed with someone. You can be impressed with their looks, you can be impressed with their actions towards you, and you can be impressed with their career, like what they're doing in life, what they've been able to accomplish, and what they're planning to accomplish. So I feel like all 3 of those are important to me.
Okay. And did you feel like your dad was there anything that he was impressed with respect to let's call him your ex-boyfriend? Was there anything that he found impressive?
Maybe it was his, I guess he's, maybe his personality. He was very outgoing, and, you know, he would bring my parents, like, a Christmas gift or, you know, something when he would go to see them. But my dad's not a materialistic person, so I feel like he would be more impressed with someone who's, you know, incredibly educated or doing very well at their job or in their career, which, you know, it's hard to say that my ex wouldn't be successful because, you know, we are so young, and we you know, he's only been out of college for 3.5 years. I've been out of college for 4.5 years. So it's hard to tell. But, and, you know, he also graduated from the same school, so it's not like, you know, he wasn't doing well or he didn't get into a good college or anything. So, but I don't know. He didn't exactly vocalize to me if there was something that he was impressed with.
Okay. What about your mom? Anything you think she might have found impressive or not impressive or not really vocalized to you either? Tell me about that.
Okay, so I know she mentioned once that he gained weight, like, and I guess my parents are very, like, anti-gaining weight. That makes us sound super superficial, but
anti-gaining weight. I didn't know what you said. Anti-gaining weight. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, like anti-fat. Like even like growing up, like after college, I gained a little bit of weight, and they definitely like made a couple comments about it. And it sounds kind of mean, but it's just they keep themselves in like really great shape, you know. That I feel like they take weight gain or fat as a sign of being lazy and not taking care of yourself, or indulging when you should indulge. So that's just the way, and you know that's also like, you know, their parents too. Like my grandma will make comments about that. So it's really not just them; it's just kind of like our family.
Okay, all right. So if I were to ask people in your life to tell me the top 3 words that come to mind when I mention your name. So I say Sabina, and tell me the top 3 words that you think hit a lot of people's heads when they hear your name.
Smart. Maybe they would say fun. Maybe like great dancer or fun person to be around. And I don't know, maybe like glamorous because I like doing my makeup and, you know, my hair, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. I was wondering if you would say quirky, so I could have that in to ask you about that, but you didn't. So tell me anything come to mind regarding quirky now? Again, I'm not looking for anything. I just want to know kind of what you consider quirky. Yeah. No. Okay.
I kind of
Nothing yet?
I can't pinpoint an example for you when I'm being quirky. So maybe that isn't. Maybe I'm really not quirky. I'm just normal.
Or maybe it comes out through the feedback. And there's nothing negative. Actually, frankly, you know, a lot of people really appreciate quirkiness, but you know what? Here's the thing: people have different views of what that is. That's where I'm getting it. So that's my thing.
Yeah.
I guess okay. No, I don't want to pressure. Haven't met anyone normal. No, I'm just kidding. So so now in terms of you know, speaking of smart, I am not talking right now about being smart or intelligent or intellectual or anything like that. What I am talking about here is your partner's level of formal education. Okay. So do you have a bachelor's from USC? Tell me about your education first. Let's start there. Tell me about yours.
I have a bachelor's. A bachelor's in business administration.
Okay.
And I guess there wasn't an official concentration, but I did tend to take most of my free classes in employment law. So there was that. I didn't do a double major or anything. But formal education, I think I would at least like to be with someone who has a bachelor's degree. At least.
Okay, so bachelor would be the minimum. If he had an advanced degree, you'd be fine with that, it sounds like. Yeah? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, now this one is age range, right? So I want to know, what are you thinking in terms of your partner's age range? What jumps out at you when I ask that question?
Okay, so probably anywhere between 25, 26 to, I think my limit would honestly be like 31, 32.
Okay, I'm going to take the low and higher. So 25 to 32. Yeah, tell me tell me where both those numbers are coming from. 25 and 32.
You know, I dated someone a year younger, and that was fine. I mean, it wasn't like a huge deal because we were pretty much the same age. But having someone my age would be fine. Having someone, I hear it's better to be with someone who's a couple years older than you. At least that's what my parents say. So. And
why do they say that? What is behind that? What do you think is behind that?
I think it's like maturity levels or something. Like guys sort of mature later than girls do, and you know, also guys, you know, start looking for their spouse, you know, later than women start to look for theirs. So I guess my ideal would probably be like if I met someone right now would probably be like 27, 28. But you know, I would be open to like 32 if it was like a really good match and I really liked him.
Okay. And what about political ideology, right? Like, how would you characterize your own? Is that important that you share that with your partner, or not really particularly relevant to you?
I'm not really particular. Like, I would be a little bit more conservative just because I am in business, and I feel like most of our clients being large businesses, I sort of see some of the more right-leaning beliefs make sense. But most of my friends are very liberal, so I don't really have a preference on that. I would prefer to be with someone who isn't like super hardcore, like liberal or super hardcore. Either way, pretty much, just someone who has their beliefs, but also respects other people's beliefs.
Kind of tolerant of different viewpoints in that way, and that kind of Yeah. Okay. Do you drink at all, like alcohol?
Yeah, I do. Probably maybe on weekends, but like, some of the conferences I go to, drinking is like a big part of it. So I will drink during the weekdays if I have those going on, but not usually. So mainly on weekends, and I do like to drink. Yes.
You judge it. Okay. And what about someone who drinks, I'm going to imagine you're fine with, tell me if I'm wrong, but what about someone who doesn't drink, kind of like the vegetarian question, right? Someone who doesn't drink but is cool with you, whatever, doing whatever you want to do. He just maybe doesn't like the taste or whatever. No self-righteousness, not because, like, he thinks there's anything wrong with it, but he just doesn't want to do it, right? So that kind of thing. What do you think of that?
I respect that.
Is that okay?
I wouldn't ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I respect it, but maybe, if they just don't like to drink and maybe they'd like to, they'll drink once or twice a year, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Okay. Do you smoke at all?
No, not really.
No, really? Okay. Socially smoke or not at all? Or tell me about that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Okay. What about if someone smokes? Would that be a deal breaker or would that be something you could live with?
I think it would be a deal breaker unless it was very occasional, like, you know.
Kind of socially, not a regular smoker, but once in a while, maybe having a drink and then having a cigarette from time to time, that kind of thing? Or tell me about what that means, yeah.
Yeah, like occasional, like once or twice, once or,
like a year.
A few times a year, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, this one is, again, no judgment-free zone entirely, right? We're going to remind you of that now. Now, anything under the sun, okay, Sabina, if you could have anything under the sun that you could only have 3 things, what would the top 3 things be that you'd like to see in your partner? Top 3. And there's no rush here, okay? Because, we're talking about 3, so tell me what those top 3 are. If you could only have these 3, what would these 3 be?
Okay. Someone who I'm very attracted to, so someone who is, possesses the qualities physically that I like. Maybe, they're tall, they have great features, they're toned, they have a good body. So that would be one. And these aren't in order, so don't think that that's like the most important thing to me.
That's okay.
But,
no, I'm going to take the top 3. It doesn't matter the order, just your top 3. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Someone who's doing well for himself and that I can be proud of, career-wise.
Okay.
That's number 2. And then number 3, who treats me as if I was like, the only girl in the world. So like who is very just not obsessed with me, but like who treats me like his queen, like I'm the best thing that ever happened to him.
Okay. And tell me, if we were to fast forward like 3 years from now, okay, so we're no longer in, 2018, right? We're no longer in 2018. We are actually 2021, beginning of 2021, but 2021. So tell me what, right, it's just sitting here today, right, with what you know now. If life would unfold as you most desire, can you tell me about what life looks like for you 3 years from now? What's in your life? Very open-ended here, intentionally. So what's in your life in February 2021?
Okay, so 3 years from now, probably I'd want to get like engaged at least. I'd hopefully be engaged by then. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I would want to. If I were to be engaged, I'd probably want to live with that person. To see if we're like compatible that way. And I would have.
And would you before? And I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 second. So before kind of making that final commitment, you'd like to kind of test, move together a little bit. Am I getting that right? Like that would be desirable.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what else?
Probably tremendous career growth 3 years from now. Just kind of being more confident in my role and Yeah, I would say that's where I picture myself.
Okay, all right. And let's talk about just one piece of that, okay? That significant other, right? That ideally you'd be engaged to within 3 years. That significant other. How important to you is finding, not being engaged, but finding that guy? Let's say, Sabina, we're going to make it really simple metric, 1 to 10, right? 1 is it's not important, right? It's not that important. 10, on the other hand, is not your only goal, but one of your top goals in this moment of time, right? Where on the continuum of 1 to 10 would you place the priority level, right, that you place on finding your guy?
Like at this point in time, like today?
Yeah, today, yeah. Exactly. Not 3 years from now, right? But now, right? Yeah, exactly.
I would say priority level 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right. Now what I want to do is I'm going to try one more time. So close your eyes if you would. Imagine you're not driving. Close your eyes for 1 second if you would. Quirky. Go back to the time you thought you were kind of quirky. What are you doing? What are you saying, or what are you doing, or who are you being?
I might be dancing, like being happy, and but that's in a mood, or I might, crack a joke or a bad joke. Maybe try and use like an accent that, I'm not really good at using, but like imitating a certain accent. Yeah. Okay. Good. I knew we'd have some. I thought we'd get somewhere, and we did. Okay, perfect. All right. Excuse me. So now what I want to do is, remember how I told you about at the beginning of the call, a little roadmap here, and that we're going to do a follow-up call? So this is the time to schedule that follow-up call. Okay. Now I know you had mentioned your mom. She sent that picture that I just did a quick glance at. You said that number. She sent it to you and I. So that number that's your number. Then I imagine am I getting that? Yeah, that's nice.
Right. Like your cell number. Something. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so let me give you a sense of what the scope of this follow-up call, which will help you kind of like have your calendar in mind and see what works for you. So in terms of this call, I'm not going to say it's not. Sometimes they do go up this long, but generally speaking, I don't tell people, go ahead and calendar out like, more than, let's say like 30 to 40 minutes for this follow-up call. The reason I say 30 to 40 is really what we're going to do is we might have a couple preliminary comments, but pretty much we're going to be jumping into the plan, the plan of action that we come up with. So I'd like to just give you a walkthrough, right? Because nobody kind of is used to seeing anything like what we're going to throw at you. So it's helpful to kind of have a walkthrough, right, to have some clarity. And then after the walkthrough, we go from like any questions you might have. Like it could take me 15, 20 minutes for this walkthrough because I go through it kind of step by step, and then any questions you have at that moment, like major kind of questions, we tackle together. And then for a lot of people, they don't. Some people have questions right away, frankly, and others kind of are like, okay, they're kind of digesting it, right, and they're kind of like, okay. And so we schedule a follow-up call after that, like a follow-up call where I can really address their questions after they've had a chance to really digest it, right? Because I give a walkthrough, but I like people to digest it on their own too. So that being the scope of it, so you need to be connected, right? You can't be driving. You need to be somewhere where you can be like viewing the plan and on the grid, right? So given that, tell me what works for you in terms of having this conversation. And also you need to I can't let you off the phone without giving me your email so I know where to email this plan to. But so I'll email you on the phone, but while we're on the phone, I'll shoot it over to you, but I still need to shoot it somewhere. So tell me where I should shoot it to, and also tell me what works for you time-wise in terms of, are weekends better for something like this, or weekdays or evenings? Can you take time out during the weekday? Tell me about that.
Weekdays should be fine if I just need to check my calendar, but the email address is Sabina, SABINABH123 @gmail.com. I can repeat that if you want me to.
I think I got it, but let me repeat it. You tell me. Your first name is SABINABH123 @gmail.com.
Yeah.
I get that right? Okay, perfect. Okay, and then do you prefer to call in, or you prefer me catching you at the cell that your mom, I guess, would have forwarded to me via text? Which is better for you?
Yeah, you can call me on my cell. That would be better.
Okay, most people say that. Most people say that. It's like, well, I don't want to punch all those numbers in. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
But Justina, I do have a question for you. Yeah. I have questions about how you do things. Is this a good time for me to ask those to you?
You know what would really, and I appreciate you asking me that, you know what would be the best time to ask me that is when I do the walkthrough. And why do I say that? Well, the reason I say it is because you have something concrete in front of you, right? And so it gives you that context. So then when I fill in the blanks for you, it's like it's making sense. Now it's almost in a vacuum that I tell you things, right? But when you have like a plan in front of you, and then you're like, okay, remind me, it'll probably address a lot of your questions in of itself, and any that are unanswered, that's a really good time to ask them then. Does that make sense? Just from a context perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one burning question though that I don't know if I'll be able to wait. What percentage of the matches that you make are Indian guys versus non-Indian? Because again, I'm not like super looking for an Indian guy in particular. I know my parents would probably prefer that, but that's not something that I want to limit myself to, because I do notice that your website is more focused on Indians.
Yeah, and that is because most of our clientele is Indian. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean most of our clientele is Indian. Not all, but most of. So why, though, is my answer not 99%? Well, the answer is not 99% because there are people like you who, so I would say that so maybe I'm wrong here, but my guess would be if I gave you a truth serum here, your thing would be your preference might be non-Indian, right? Maybe or maybe not. And we have clients who it's like they don't want Indian, okay? Then we have other clients who only want Indian. And we have everything in the middle in terms of, I have a preference for non-Indian or I have a preference for Indian, but I can kind of go both ways depending on the woman or the guy. So I have a pretty good mix of that. So does that make sense? I mean, everyone's kind of on a different, along the spectrum, people are in different places, right? And then sometimes people are like, I think ABC, but you know what? Yeah, maybe not Indian. Or I think ABC, but maybe not non-Indian, right? And so it's one of those, I encourage people to be pretty exploratory with those kind of things, right? You don't need to box yourself in kind of thing. So I encourage, unless someone knows, Indian just doesn't do it for me, or non-Indian doesn't do it for me, then that's fine. Then it's a waste of everyone's time, right? But if someone is kind of like, maybe not so much, Indian hasn't really worked for me, or non-Indian hasn't really worked for me, then it's like, well, okay, but you know what? Not all non-Indians or not all Indians are the same. So let's explore both and let's see. Does that make sense? So that's pretty much my philosophy. Yeah. So unless someone is just like deal breaker of Indian or deal breaker of non-Indian, like that's kind of the easier, but a lot of people are not there, right? And they don't need to be. And I actually don't encourage it unless someone has like real definitive reasons to be kind of in one camp or the other. Because I think there is value in exploring and realizing there's a whole continuum of both non-Indians and Indians alike, right? So that would be, that's pretty much my answer. And we do, because of that, in addition to our database that has non-South Asians and our network that has non-South Asians, we collaborate a lot with other matchmakers throughout the country, really, in terms of you know, in terms of making matches as well. It's all confidential and discreet. We don't, we don't disclose confidential things to people, but we will collaborate, right? Like I will look at a lens of what my client's looking for, and I really uncover, right? I leave no stone unturned in that sense. It doesn't make sense, right? Like you, right? In terms of the employees, like you want the best of the best, then you're gonna kind of uncover everything to see who might be the best of the best for a particular role, a particular position, right? In that sense. So in a very similar way, right? Like we help clients feel it's like the most important, right? Is to get to another. So
yeah. So how does it work? Like, would you show a photo of me without disclosing my name, or would you disclose the name and the maybe occupation, but not the picture?
No, we are very confidential.
About.
Yeah, okay. We don't share any pictures of you, nor do we share your last name. Now, we would share your first name typically, but we do, if you want to go by a nickname, that's fine too, right? So either or, because, a lot of Indians, right, they're not like a million Sabinas in where we do. Okay, so the two things we disclose is first name, and if people want to use a nickname, that's totally fine. We have had clients use names, and they've been very high profile. So we name or nickname, right, and location, i.e., something in California or what have you. Those two pieces of information we disclose, and that's it, right, until you connect with someone. And then
I would want to use a nickname.
As you get to know them.
I would want to use a nickname, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
and that's all right. You would definitely others do that as well. But yeah, so let's capture all your other questions. If anything that we don't capture in the walkthrough, we will capture. And again, if not, like we'll capture them. Anything that, again, a burning question that comes up when we do the walkthrough, and then any burning questions that come up after the walkthrough, we'll set even at that end of the call. We'll likely set another call. I like to kind of set, because this is not rushed, right? I don't like for people to feel rushed. So I'm like, we're gonna slowly, right? We're gonna unpeel the layers. So let's just set that next call that we're gonna have. So we have something on the books. And Sabina, okay, so you had mentioned, so do weekdays work better than weekends, or does weekend work for you too?
Weekends could work. I think I would prefer weekdays, though.
You prefer weekdays?
Just because, yeah, because I'm busy doing stuff. I'm out, so.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me look at my Monday and Tuesday. Okay. So should we start with Monday, or are Mondays crazy for you and you prefer to get into the week a little bit first? Wait, Monday or Tuesday? Pick one and I'll give you time based on which day you pick. Options. Yeah.
Okay. I could do a Monday. I could do a Monday afternoon around probably around 1:30 Pacific time.
Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's look at Tuesday. Would Tuesday be any earlier? Could you do earlier on Tuesday the 6th? Earlier meaning it could be this time, like lunch-ish, or it could be earlier, ideally, or it could be a little later, but not. Well, actually, it could be. No, it actually could be. Give me 1 second. It could be later. Like Tuesday has a little bit more flexibility in terms of afternoon, even. So, what time would work for you on Tuesday? Forget what I just said and tell me what works for you on the 6th. I don't think Monday.
I think 1:30 Pacific time. If that works for you, that works for me.
Okay. After I said that, I get it. So 1:30. Can we do it a little earlier? I have a 2 o'clock that I don't want you to feel rushed, right? I don't want you to feel like, I have a question and I'm going to I can't, I have to get off now. So can we do it half an hour earlier just to buffer or later? Either way. Like 1 o'clock or give me 1 second. This call should, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
We could probably
3 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
Oh, you're saying you can do a 3 o'clock?
Yeah, I can do a 3 o'clock on Tuesday. I've way more flexibility on Tuesday than I do Monday. So if 3 o'clock or even 3:15 or 3:30, any of those works for me on the 6th.
Oh, and you're talking Pacific time, right?
Yeah, all Pacific, yeah. So 3:30 works.
Okay,
in fact,
yeah.
3:30, yeah, would be fine. 3:30?
3:30 is great, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So 3:30 on the 6th. And again, you can be somewhere like you'll be on the grid, right? Wherever you're going to be, you're going to have some connectivity at that time. Perfect. And we're good. All right. So I will call you on your cell on the 6th at 3:30, and we'll take it from there. Sound good?
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Have a great weekend, all right? I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.